Good morning, guys. This is Mr. Kirk here, back with another UIL number sense video. Today's topic is going to be multiplying by any fraction of 100, 1000, etc. The thing that I like most about this lesson is that this is basically your capstone course for multiplication. 1.25 is going to take everything that you've learned during the past week, put it all together, and test what you know at a high level. The thing that I like most about this lesson is that if you're able to get through it and understand it, you will be left with a very deep understanding of multiplication on these number sense tests and how to get through ultimately any type of problem, regardless of how hard it may look. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. In my opinion, to truly master multiplication on a number sense test, you have to be very familiar with what I call the fraction tree. The fraction tree is one of the first devices that we use in number sense because it involves memorization, and memorization is a big part of the test. The purpose of creating this fraction tree is to help us create muscle memory so that when we see a certain type of fraction or a certain type of decimal number, we immediately think of one or the other. So how do we create this fraction tree? We're going to start at the top of the tree with 1/2. Just below that, we are going to start with 1/3 and 2/3. Notice how I don't care about 2/2 or 3/3. I only care about fractions that have a value between 0 and 1. So to save time, I'm going to fill out this entire tree all the way through the twelfths. So here you have it, the entire fraction tree written out from the halves to the twelfths. So why is this thing important and how do we use it? If you truly want to develop mastery over multiplication, you need to have the fraction and decimal values all memorized all the way through the twelfths for the number sense test. In example, if I was looking at this row right here, which was only the eighths, I would want to type in on my calculator 1 divided by 8, and it would pop out 0.125. For 2/8, 0.25. For 3/8, 0.375. And so on and so forth all the way down. I'm not going to cover the decimal value of every single fraction in this video because that would eat up a ton of time, but this is something that I would like you guys to explore for yourself and have written down somewhere on a piece of paper near your number sense stuff. Let me show you how this fraction tree can be used on the number sense test when you have all the decimals memorized. I'm on BryantHeath.com, problem set 1.25. And if you're watching this video, some of these questions that I'm going to be going over are part of your problem set homework, so you get some freebies just by watching the video. Take a look at question number 1, 125 times 320. Because of my experience of memorizing the fraction tree, I immediately notice that 125 reminds me of 0.125. This number here reminds me of 1/8. So because 125 reminds me of an eighth, all I need to do to solve this problem is divide 320 by 8. 32 divided by 8 is 4, so 320 divided by 8 is 40. And lastly, just like the previous two lessons, I'm going to move the decimal place over 3 spaces. I'll do the same thing here to get my answer of 40,000. Notice on problem number 2, this has an asterisk next to it. This just means that you have to be within 5% of the correct answer. So what would be my approach on number 2? Again, this comes back to memorization from the fraction tree. By filling out the entire fraction tree, I notice that 8333 is very close to 5/6 because 0.833 repeating is 5/6. So how would I solve this problem? Well, first I would divide 24 by 6 to get 4, and then I would multiply it by 5 to get 20. And then lastly, just like the previous problem, I need to shift this back over 4 decimal places, 1, 2, 3, 4, to get my answer of 200,000. Skipping down to number 15, going back to more multiplication. 375 times 408, I immediately notice that 375 is very similar to 3/8, which is 0.375. So to solve this, first, I'll divide 408 by 8. So you're asking yourself, how many 8s go into 408? Well, 40 divided by 8 is 5. 400 divided by 8 is 50, plus I have one extra 8, that's going to be 51. I'm then going to take 51 and multiply it by my numerator of 3 to get 153. And then finally, my last step, I'm going to add 3 more zeros because I moved the decimal place over 3 places. So the last problem I want to show you guys is problem number 18. This is another estimation problem. One thing that's really important to understand on a number sense test is when you're given these estimation problems, you have to work the numbers around in your favor for the easiest solve without going over your threshold, which is 5%. I notice right away that 875 is very close to 7/8. But 719 is a very odd looking number. It almost looks like it might be prime. So what I'm going to do instead is change this 719 to a 720, and I know for a fact that's going to keep me within my 5% range. By making these two changes in my head, I can see right away that this is what the test writer was going for. So to solve, I'm going to do 720 divided by 8. 72 divided by 8 is 9. So 720 divided by 8 is 90. I'll then do 90 times 7. 9 times 7 is 63. So 90 times 7 is 630. And then finally, for your last step, move the decimal place over 3 places to get 630,000. Let's check our answer and see how close we were. 719 times 875. We are definitely within the 5% threshold of that answer. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you guys now feel equipped to tackle problem set 1.25. I can promise you this, if you don't make the fraction tree and put the fraction tree next to you on paper while you're doing this lesson, it's going to be very difficult. So I hope that you guys use the fraction tree. I hope that you guys learned something today. Hope that you have a wonderful day. Do your best, and as always, go Cats.